Welcome to the Big Four Accounting Firms podcast, brought to you by bigfouraccountingfirms.com. If you enjoy our show, don't forget to help us out by subscribing to this podcast, sharing it with a friend, and providing us with a review on iTunes. Check out the show notes below for the link. Thanks, and enjoy the show.
Today we're going to be continuing our Big Four Experience series, where we take a look at whether or not the Big Four experience is worth it or not. There's many reasons why people ask themselves whether Big Four experience is worth it. And one of the main reasons is how many hours you have to work. And can you achieve the same experience that you get at the Big Four and other firms for less hours and equal pay and equal benefits? And so the topic we're going to focus on today, this is part 3, is salary and promotions, because I think salary and promotions go hand in hand. So first, let's discuss salary. Is the salary at the Big Four worth it? Can you achieve the salary at a firm other than the Big Four? Can you go to a smaller accounting firm, or can you achieve the same salary in industry? And I think the answer is yes, right out of the gate. Right out of the gate, coming out of college, you can get a similar salary in a smaller accounting firm or an industry, especially depending upon the region. And the region you're in affects us a lot. For example, if you're in a region and the region is having an economic boom, then there's going to be a lot of companies that need accountants and need accountants with good degrees. And so they'll be willing to pay for that, especially if you go to a top 5 accounting school, top 10 accounting school, and you're a competitive market, then you're going to be able to get the same amount of money somewhere else other than the Big Four than you would at the Big Four. But after that initial phase, what does it look like? Do you get the same promotions and same salary at other firms that you would at the Big Four? And I think that's where the answer is no. The Big Four, you get promoted every 2 to 3 years. And if you work in a big market, it's going to tend towards every 2 years, as long as you're considered an exceptional performer. But otherwise, it'll be 3 years. Where if you work in industry, then you're not guaranteed a promotion. You could work 10 years before you get promoted. And what that means is you're not going to get huge salary increases either. An industry salary is normally 3 to 5% raises. There's usually larger bonuses, but they don't give staff people large bonuses. It's once you reach the higher levels that you can get a large bonus. So starting out in the Big Four, you're not necessarily going to get a much larger salary than other places. But in the Big Four, you'll get promoted sooner, and that means bigger raises than industry. Because when you get promoted in the Big Four, your standard raise, which might be 5, 6, 4%, all of a sudden get bumped up to 10, 12, 15%. In industry, you'll never see those kind of raises unless you go to a VP title or an executive title or a manager title. And like I said before, it's harder to get that in industry than in the Big Four, because the Big Four, all you really have to do is sit in your chair for 3 years and you get an automatic promotion. And with that automatic promotion, like I said before, comes a 10, 12% raise. And the other thing that the Big Four eventually offer in terms of salary is partnership. And partnership is where you stop being an employee and you start becoming a business owner. And once you do that, you can really multiply your income. In industry, you don't achieve the same levels of income that partners do unless you achieve an executive title and you get stock compensation. But at the Big Four, it's a lot easier to get partnership than it is to become an executive within industry. So there is that ultimate level that's a little bit easier. And another thing that staying in the Big Four longer offers in terms of salary is if you're able to stay in the Big Four for a while, you can get a higher salary when you leave the Big Four. You can get a large raise in industry from switching from the Big Four. For example, if you go from the Big Four, if you leave the Big Four after 4 years and then you go into industry, you could probably get a 20% bump on your base salary, if not more, depending on what niche you're in within the Big Four, what your specialization is. Where if you stay in industry the whole way, you're just going to get those 3 to 5% raises every year with maybe a 10% bonus. And then once you get to AVP or higher, then you can get the 10, 20%, 30% bonuses that some people in industry receive. So that begs the question, is the Big Four experience worth it in terms of salaries and promotions? I think at the beginning stages of your career, you're not going to notice, and you and your friends aren't going to notice if you talk to other people, the difference in salary, because I think the salaries will be similar. Somebody might be earning $50,000 at the Big Four and their friend makes $55,000 at an industry or a smaller accounting firm, but that'll probably change over time. In the Big Four experience over time, well, with the fast promotions, and it's those fast promotions that are really going to allow them to earn more than their counterparts within industry or smaller accounting firms. So that goes to say that the Big Four experience is worth it in the longer term, but maybe not in the shorter term of salary. If you want a better work-life balance at the beginning of your career and you're willing to take the same amount of salary, then you probably should go somewhere else, because the Big Four, you're not going to get that same work-life balance, and you might earn the same amount. So the Big Four experience is about equal in terms of salary, but it's better in the long term, especially in terms of promotions and career acceleration. And with that promotion and career acceleration comes longer term salary benefits. So if you're willing to wait, the Big Four experience can be worth it in terms of salary. But if you're only worried about the amount of money you're going to earn coming out of college, then it's Big Four is probably on par with industry and smaller accounting firms.
We appreciate your help in growing this podcast so we can continue to bring you the best Big Four content possible. You could help us out by providing a review on iTunes, sending us an email with your comments, and don't forget to share with your friends. There's a link below in the show notes. That's our show for today. Thanks for listening and have a great day.